Thank you for watching our webinars. Today we will be discussing how to perform price increases with the product spreadsheet. Here in ImproMed, before we do any price increasing, our first suggestion is to either run a backup like you are taught to do in your end of year process, or quite often I just go into the reports module. Down here under setup reports, setup product reports is a report that's called the price listing. I want to tuck away what my current price list is right now, and I typically suggest you do it again afterwards so that you had a hard copy of the price list tucked away somewhere in case the computers were ever down for a day or so. So you get to organize this any way on the report you want. I'm still pretty much categories and alphabetically by name. You could just go by name and it'd be alphabetically A to Z of every product in your system. But again, you can preview any report that you preview. You can then export and tuck away into any folder that you want. We don't always have to print all the pages that are here. So again, it's going to generate a price list. I'm going to tuck it away. I know exactly what my prices were before I start. There are oftentimes people call and say, my prices are all wrong. And we give it, well, what should they be? And I don't remember. So this is a good place to start. I'm just going to cancel printing because I'm not going to wait for it. So after our printing, because I could have done just one category at a time, just to show you exactly what I'm doing here, I'm going to do, I don't want my Antec, they're very long. Okay, now I should get it very fast. So now I'm going to get it by category. It's going to have 2 columns, and it's just going to give us the price of one of every code. I could hit export and export it to a folder somewhere to keep a price list always on hand. Our next step is we're going to go into the product spreadsheet, set up product spreadsheet. And in here, we have the ability first to decide what columns we're working with. And if I'm just working on sales tax today, I can hide all the other columns and bring up just my sales tax column. The way to edit what columns we're viewing is the pencil in the top right corner, and any check, because typically there's so much going on in this spreadsheet, you absolutely want to hide all the columns we're not working on. Since today we are increasing the level 1 low unit price and the level 1 high unit price, this is for going on invoices and estimates, and this is going the high price of an estimate, then I've got the columns pretty much selected that I want. If I come in here and I sort by category, by clicking on the category tab, now all of my categories in this system are alphabetical. I could hold my mouse, left mouse down and highlight all these anesthesia services in blue. And up here under my selection options, I'm going to say select highlighted rows, go. And then I'm going to, again, work my way through this whole product spreadsheet of what items. I'm just pretending I'm Antec West and not Antec East, so I can highlight all the codes I want to highlight. And your job, and I won't do too many, your job is to go up and down this spreadsheet, and basically all we're really doing is putting a little blue check mark next to everything we're choosing to increase at a specific rate. You could just as easily just click over here, and that does one at a time. Again, the drag to click several at a time. Once you've worked your way up and down your product list and you've selected all the codes you want to raise and increase the prices of, now we're going to decide what action you want. And the action to raise prices is change dollar amounts. I'm going to hit go. And in this dollar amount screen, we want to level 1 low and level 1 high. If anybody out there gets an estimate that has the low higher than the high, that means they forgot to check this one and they didn't raise both of them at the same time. Okay, and we have ways of correcting that, so that is not a problem if you tend to have your estimates looking kind of silly. Your available action, set to a fixed dollar amount. If I did this and I said apply, that's saying I'm changing every product I have selected to a price of 0, which we've seen. So it happens. So our option is add a fixed dollar amount. Now, maybe if I was doing all of my packaging fees and I want to add $1 or $2 to my packaging fees, that would make sense. Multiply existing value by the following value. This is how we're going to raise by a percentage amount. I'm coming in here and I'm going to say my percentage that I want is going to start with 1, because everything must be multiplied times itself, and then add the percentage. If we just multiplied by 3%, now we're lowering the price, not raising the price. So 1.03 equals 3%. 1.05 is 5%. 1.1 is 10%. So if I say I want to raise all the things I have selected by 3%, when I apply it, the system is now changing everything. And again, it's not changing it outside of the spreadsheet yet. This is your double check and changing it just in the spreadsheet for right now. So what the system is doing is showing me this code right here was 44, because that's my price of 1, the old price, and it's going to go to 45.32. My 72 is going to 74. My 48 is going to 49. So as you should, again, work your way up and down the spreadsheet to convince yourself that, yes, this is exactly what I want to change. My Antec West didn't change. Oh, because they were all set to 0 prices. So 0 times anything is still 0. So only one of my codes went from 28 to 28.84. So again, in black, it's going to highlight what is changing. Your job is to verify that all of those prices look good. And as soon as you hit the apply out here, then that's going to push it to all of the products in your system and raise your prices. Anything already on an invoice is not going to change. If it's already put on an invoice, it brought its properties in at the time it was added, so we still have older prices on current invoices. Anything that is being added newly to an invoice is where you're going to see the new prices affect the invoices that you're building. So basically, again, when you hit apply, you always want to leave this because you want to update price of 1, so don't uncheck that just because it goes faster. We're going to apply. You're going to let it work its way. Depending on how many changes you're making is about how long this process is going to take. If we're changing down below here, it says I'm only changing 77 things. So it's not going to take that long, but if it says you're changing 3,000 things, then it's going to work its way in. It could make other computers in the building slow because you're using a lot of the server resources and taking a lot of attention there. I'm not going to change. I'm just going to hit cancel. But as you apply it, let it work its way through. If we're making a lot of changes, then we would suggest that you probably do this before anybody else in the morning or after the end of day so that you're not affecting the other computers. The spreadsheet's a place you want to get in, make your changes, and get back out. It's not something we're going to work on for a little while and leave minimized at the bottom of the screen and come back after lunch or any other time to complete our work, because again, the longer that spreadsheet sits open, the more resources is taken and could be causing slowness to other computers in the building. So it's just one of those things you want to get in, do your work, apply, and get back out. I would come back again and export another price list. When you export it, you get to name it. So I would have a pre-price increase of 2019 or whatever, 2020. Then I'd have a post-price list so that you can identify and compare that these products actually did exactly what you expected them to do. After a price increase, and if you use canned estimates, one should always go to Setup, Estimates, Estimate Options, hit this Recalculate Canned Estimate tab at the very bottom, and again, you should take your canned estimates and it's just going to update the prices in the canned estimates so that your canned estimates are as accurate as your new prices are. So you just hit begin and it would work its way through every canned estimate in your system. And if the blood work within a canned estimate went up, then so does the blood work. Blood work outside the canned estimate would push the change to the blood work inside the canned estimate. So remembering to recalculate your canned estimates after a price increase is always an important note too. Thank you for watching our price increases with the product spreadsheet. Please give us a call if you have any questions.